This is VOA News via remote. I'm Diane Roberts. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has announced a series of punitive steps against the Palestinians after a rash of deadly shootings. The announcement casts a cloud over the visit next week by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and threatened to further raise tensions. Netanyahu's security cabinet approved the measures in the wake of the attacks. It also plans to cancel security benefits for the families of the attackers, make it easy for Israelis to get gun licenses, and step up efforts to collect illegal weapons. The announcement said that in response to public Palestinian celebrations over the attack, Israel would take new steps to strengthen the settlements this week. The Biden administration, which condemned the shooting, opposes settlement construction in East Jerusalem and the West Bank. The Palestinian Health Ministry said 2 Palestinian men died Sunday after gunshot wounds from Israeli security personnel in 2 recent incidences. Pope Francis on Sunday condemned a resurgence of violence in the Middle East, calling on both sides in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict to engage in a sincere search for peace. Francis cited 10 Palestinians, including a woman, killed in an Israeli army raid on a refugee camp in the West Bank, and an attack Friday by a Palestinian gunman that killed 7 Israelis outside a synagogue in East Jerusalem. Pope Francis starts a trip on Tuesday to 2 fragile African nations where protracted conflicts have left millions of refugees and displaced people grappling with hunger. The trip was scheduled to take place last July but was postponed. This is VOA News. Friends and volunteers gathered to say goodbye to a New Zealand scientist and another volunteer who were killed in Ukraine while they were helping to evacuate people from a frontline town. AP correspondent Sarah Nafa has more.
Andrew Bagshaw, a dual New Zealand-British citizen, was 48 years old, and British citizen Christopher Perry, who was 28, went missing earlier this month while heading to the town of Soledar in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region. Bagshaw's father, Phil, told reporters in New Zealand that his son wanted to do something to help. Ukrainian police said that on January the 9th, they lost contact with Bagshaw and Perry after the two headed for Soledar. Their bodies were later recovered. A Ukrainian official reported that the defending forces made an organized retreat from the salt mining town. Friends said the men's bodies would be handed over to relatives in the UK. I'm Sarah Nafa.
At least 10 children were killed on Sunday when a boat carrying religious school students capsized in northwest Pakistan, officials said. Around 8 students were still missing while 7 injured had been taken to the hospital, according to local officials where the accident took place. Former U.S. President Donald Trump hit the campaign trail Saturday for the first time since announcing his bid to reclaim the White House in 2024. Reuters correspondent Matthew Laratonda reports.
There were noticeably low-key affairs, in contrast to the loud and lively rallies with thousands of supporters that he often holds. Trump did keep his classic bold tone.
Through weakness and incompetence, Joe Biden has brought us to the brink of World War III. We're at the brink of World War III, just in case anybody doesn't know it. As president, I will bring back peace through strength. I would have a peace deal negotiated within 24 hours.
Trump was once the unrivaled center of the GOP, but an increasing number of elected officials have expressed concern that he may not be able to win an election against President Biden.
Reuters correspondent Matthew Laratonda. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak fired the chairman of his ruling Conservative Party Sunday over a serious breach of the ministerial code. VOA's Tommy McNeil reports.
Pressure had been building on Nadhim Zahawi amid allegations he settled a multi-million-dollar unpaid tax bill while he was in charge of the country's treasury. In a letter to Zahawi, Sunak wrote, he had been forced to act after promising at the start of his tenure that his government would have integrity, professionalism, and accountability at every level. There was no immediate comment from Zahawi. Tommy McNeil, VOA News, Washington.
Turkey has issued a travel warning for its citizens living in or planning on going to European countries, citing Islamophobia and anti-Turkish demonstrations. The warning comes after last weekend's protests in Sweden. This is VOA News.
Please subscribe, like, or comment. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I'm an American. I grew up in the US. I am a professional English language educator. with extensive experience in teaching English, especially English for academic purposes, test preparation, and general English to university students and adults